Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Dota 2 Asia Championship. We've got the European Tournament, best or double elimination. We've got another opening round matchup, Hellraisers versus VirtusPro, another best of three. I'm Zyori, joined by LD. We did the old caster switcheroo, and, well, plenty more Dota 2 action.
Woo!
That's the spirit.
This should be good. Hellraisers versus VirtusPro. You know, you go back 6 months ago, there were hardly any CIS teams competitive, really. Navi just had made their roster reshuffle. Empire wasn't really consistently delivering. This team, Hellraisers, was Compass Gaming and pretty unknown at the time, but it's been CIS rising lately, Andrew. Part of it due to the fact that a lot of the other Western European teams have been reshuffling or just struggling. Tinker, very hot and cold, not looking particularly dominant lately. Alliance in a state of disarray with the new roster. We'll see what they can do moving forward. And Navi, technically an Eastern European team, but with a lot of Western fans in general around the world from the English-speaking community. But VirtusPro Polar, Empire, Hellraisers, these are the teams, the new wave to look out for, and so far they have looked pretty good. HR has gotten a lot of love from Eternal Envy publicly. You look at this team, their individual skill is extremely high, and they're also just dedicated. They've stuck together with the same five for a while. To me, one of the biggest threats walking into this qualifier, I would say them, VirtusPro Polar, probably two of my favorite teams to take it all the way here. We've already had some of the games to move through, and just look at the bracket quickly. For those who haven't had a chance to look at it yet, you can check this out on Liquipedia, teamliquid.net, wiki.teamliquid.net. But Power Rangers as well as Alliance already taking out Tinker and Navi respectively. So early on, it's looking pretty good here. Now, as you mentioned, all matches will be best of three. So.
Right, all best of three, and we're still in the opening round. So no elimination here. It's still a little bit of a buffer, I guess you could say. And our second series of the day for you and I casting after this will be Alliance versus Power Rangers, the first of the semifinals that has already gone through, I believe. So we'll even get into some teams getting close to that winner spot. But yeah, Hellraisers, a team that we'll see at Star Ladder. We haven't really seen either of these two teams on the competitive scene since Star Ladder, the qualifying. So we'll see what these two teams have in store for us here. Dota 2 Lounge pretty even, right around a 50-50 coin flip kind of a matchup. And Hellraisers, they were the team that qualified for that first Open for ES Portal. So they've been putting up some results over the past month or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Draft underway now, so we're going to see a first pick Skywrath Mage, which I was not seen at all in the American games. Not very popular in China either right now, but still a go-to support for some of the CIS teams. Ban's also a bit different. We don't see the Batrider ban, no Juggernaut ban, which was getting quite a bit of hate or love, depending on how you want to look at it in one of the previous games.
10 seconds
or in a lot of the previous games the other day. So it'll be Avenge, Jug, Reply. These are the types of heroes that are all the rage right now. And it gives you just a good mixed open. You get a good single target pick-off support in the Venge, Linus Armor to go for the Roshan early, synergizes quite well with the Juggernauts. Right-click and Omni-Slash. At the same time, VP will get an Ember Spear. So they go for a hero that G can take over the game with. Generally, when VP do well, it is with G snowballing quite hard. So, and sometimes even when he does snowball quite hard, they still end up losing. Case in point, the Wind Ranger game that they had at Star Ladder, where he didn't end up losing, but you could see how close they were to dropping that match. So.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these teams. Reminds me of Smash a little bit. Just their general play style games where G gets that momentum and the team can kind of feed off of it, and kind of vice versa if you get shut down. But here's an interesting one from Hellraisers, and they're one of few teams that have actually been trying to utilize one of the recent changes to Chen, and that's with that Aghanim Scepter. Their most recent game with Chen on history, I was checking it out this morning, he did actually manage to farm up an Ags, and still sort of untested waters. We haven't seen too many teams experiment with, putting some farm priority on Chen, and how much of a difference do those Ancients really make. You've got that big Granite Golem with the 15% HP buff, so, food for thought. Maybe some natural synergy there with that Healing Ward from the Juggernaut, which is also percentage-based, but something that Hellraisers have at least experimented with since the change.
Yeah, I think probably the even bigger change to Chen is the Holy Persuasion change. Being able to have 2 creeps at level 2, you can get a lot more aggressive with pushing early on, and oftentimes what you see with Chen players is they get the level 1 Holy Persuasion, they go and try to find a kill or two, and then, oh shit, I only have 1 creep, I need to farm my level 5, and so you disappear into the jungle. If you're not focusing on farming early, it can take a while, and then by the time you come out, they may have their big team fight ultimates. They may just have levels and their D-push spells, and it's not so easy to go for those pushes. But with Healing Ward and Chen, you know push is coming. VP do get a great defensive support to slow the push, and the Earthshaker here. Fissure block, very nice to keep Juggernaut off your tower potentially, and certainly to slow down those creeps. So
yeah,
I think a good pick, definitely something VP needed. Going for a Skywrath, this hero has no deep push at all, so they keep that in mind as the draft moves forward.
Yep, a support duo we've seen quite a bit. Earthshaker and Skywrath, they're very harmonious. They kind of make up for what the other lacks, and also they're pretty good in that laning stage. A lot of burst potential with the Ancient Seal and all that long-range damage the Earthshaker can put out. Hellraisers moving into the Troll Warlord.
I've been waiting for this. I was talking to Blitz the other day. He kept on pimping out the Troll, talking about how great Troll is right now.
Yeah.
Didn't see it a single time for like 20 games after that. But Blitz, if you're watching, you were right. We're going to see some Troll now. And you see this pick if you're VP and you're like, oh my god, these guys are pushing really hard now. Venjara, Juggernaut with the Healing Ward, Chen with the early double creep and the potential to get up to 4, and Troll with his ultimate. Hellraisers, they don't have to commit to a full-on push strat, but you have to be worried about the potential if you're VP.
Yeah, and one of the other things whenever I see a Troll is you got to remember Roshan, especially on the Dire side. Yes. With that Battle Cry, you can just flash push those towers, or the Battle Trance rather, flash push those towers and take down Rosh pretty damn fast. So that's where VirtusPro, if they take a failed team fight, they will lose objectives. And
so you get Puck here. Puck. Pretty good against their supports as well. Chen, Venge, no real instant disables. Like Puck doesn't have to worry about like say Lion or Lion probably being one of the best examples. Skywrath being another. Just heroes that can ambush the Puck, kill him instantly before you can even phase shift. So I think Puck's okay here. They also get more D push with the orb. Should be okay, pretty good at getting to levels this game early on as well. Hellraiser's not with the best zone, like kill threatening duo. Like Venge is a decent zoner, but you can always just phase shift that magic missile if you're quick on your reactions.
Yeah, this is screaming pipe to me from the Hellraiser side. Lots of magic damage from VirtusPro, and we'll see how they round this off with their final pick. Hellraisers have banned out the PA. She's been quite popular recently, but also for VirtusPro, they've been utilizing her in their recent history quite a bit. Probably a smart ban there. Still a lot of heroes in the pool for BZZ, though, and a lot of options.
Yeah, it's generally when you see PA really excel is when teams rely heavily on physical damage, and so obviously the evasion comes into play.
Yeah.
They do have heroes that can build MKB and the Troll and Jug. They do not have a Hex, is the other thing. So we've seen a lot of support Lion. I don't think PA is generally a great choice against Lions just because you Hex her. You've got 4 points in evasion, normally 40% evasion. Now you have 0, and it's a long duration Hex. But with the supports already picked, PA could be a nice pocket choice from VP. And
Dire team pick.
PA Ember would be a bit on the just single target side, I would say, in terms of their pickup. But they do have the ES Puck to D-push. So it would be a decent option. What else will VP go for instead? I feel like they look at this Hellraisers draft. They should want someone who can just be involved in larger scale fights. Either that or someone who can prevent Hellraisers from grouping up. So
yeah, like
even looking at like say a gyrocopter, this push is going to come pretty early, but being able to drop cooldown would be really helpful against the potential creep army.
Yeah, I wonder what Hellraisers have in mind here. Something like a Furion would have been tempting, but now that Earthshaker kind of deters that. Okay, they go with the Spirit Breaker.
The Bashlords.
Yeah, maybe like a Centaur, but yeah, they're stacking up the bashes. So
see, that's the thing with the way they open the draft, right? They could go all in push, or they could back off and go for a different type of draft. So they get a hero that can just be a total thorn in the Ember side, charge them from across the map. Not the easiest line to get your charges off on, though. Skywrath with the instant, just the ability to drop down his ultimate when you jump in on someone. Ember Spirit, potentially you can just Remnant too far to really chase any further. Earthshaker and Puck, pretty difficult to jump with the defensive fissure, and Puck having phase shift as well as the coil, so we'll see if the Spirit Breaker pick works out.
I feel like it's almost a deterrent for this last pick. Like if VirtusPro wanted to go for an anti-mage here, this Spirit Breaker says, you might want to think twice about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great anti-mage game. They push pretty hard.
Yeah.
But it is a deterrent for heroes that are not good in 5-man. So they go for one that is with the Razor.
Yeah. And more good creep clear. Pretty good with the anti-push. That'll be your G hero.
It's not going to be the G Ember.
Yeah, BZZ takes the Ember. Okay. All right.
Could have gone either way, and that's the nice thing with having multiple players who are comfortable on the heroes. You can just switch it up last minute.
Yeah. And so Sadoy will take the puck to the off lane, and that'll leave Earthshaker there for other support. All right, very good. So this will be game one of this best of three, 1-1-1. I believe that is Gorek, their captain and drafter there on the Hellraisers side. I don't think we have any stand-ins today. He's just tagged up all silly. So, not to worry.
So how you doing, buddy? You just got back? Excited to cast?
I am. I'm pumped up. You know, every time I go on vacation, I come back and I feel like I feel out of place. There's
a new man.
Yeah. Well, you come back and there's just something missing, and it's all that Dota, all those hours you spend on the mic. So I'm ready to get back to it and picking up the pieces from Parker's production. We all have different ways of arranging the monitors and setting up all the gear, and it's funny when you take over.
Is this that bad? Picking up the pieces? It's like a broken setup.
That makes it sound like you just bashed it before you left. Like, good luck. BTS fan straights, but
there you go.
Happy to be back and pumped up, man. We're gonna be leaving for Kiev in like less than a week, so I'm glad to be casting Hellraisers, some of the other teams that are gonna be at Starladder, and see what they have in store coming up for the LAN finals.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing with the latest Starladder is some people are like, oh, there's no Seeker, there's no EG, crappy LAN tournament, but I've really enjoyed watching the teams that are a little bit less visible lately. Good example would be the latest D2L.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun checking out LV. EG, even though they're a big name team, but they had the new roster, like Dota feels like it's in a pretty fresh place right now. And along with that, the patch. Having the new patch, I think, is making a difference for me. So.
Yeah, this is that time of year when that sort of second roster shuffle happens after the TI shuffle.
And Valve now announced early May. That's when the invites go out.
Everybody knows, so it's getting serious.
They announced the event dates, and then they even said when the invites will go out. So people are, oh man, it's time to get serious now. Yep. If you weren't already, it's beginning.
Time to buckle down, boys and girls. Some initial invading, but no engagement coming out. Dara will get an observer ward down on the high ground. Arts coming forward, breaks the static link, and Bounty Rune will go to VirtusPro on both sides of the coin. Down bottom, it's BZZ that picks it up. G gets the one up top, and Gorek will get harassed back to the bottom lane. The other Dire Observer will come out on the side of the tree line here in this bottom lane to make the Spirit Breaker's life a little easier.
All right, so we're going to see the pretty much expected lanes. Jug can off lane, but he's been run more as a lot more as a one position lately. It's the off lane Spirit Breaker, Troll going mid, no big surprises there. HR do a good job of defending their jungle early, which is important because they're running the Chen, obviously. So they get the D ward on this one big camp, and then I think more importantly, the Chen ensures that none of his camps are blocked off in the woods. So he'll get his early levels. Also want to point out F Ninja goes for the boots first. Very standard against Razor. You might look at me like, why would you go boots first on Troll? But against Razor, you don't want those big static links coming out. So Razor did not opt for boots. It used to be like a boots, basically a boots war, where Razor players started going boots. So then back when OD was really popular mid, OD players started going boots to counter the Razor boots. And now G has just next leveled him and said, you know what, I'm just going to have more last hitting power than you. I don't need boots.
Yeah, mid lane will probably be fairly passive unless supports rotate through. They are starting to tighten the noose around Gorek a bit down bottom. The supports have made their way down. Yol on the Skywrath, Jotum on the Earthshaker, and looking for his angles here. Will come in, connects with the Fissure. Searing Chains from BZZ. This could well be your first blood, and it is. BZZ on the Ember Spirit gets all that bonus gold.
Nice pick off there, and it's a very high damage output tri-lane with good lockdown from the chains. Generally what you'll see from Spirit Breakers is they can use the charge defensively to run away, but when you have to worry about chains as well as Fissure, that's not the easiest thing in the world, especially with that early level 1 charge. It's still pretty fast, but the cooldown is like quite low, so it's something he can keep in mind in general. Just charging away is an option, but in that case, just too much burst damage. What if he had tried to, you would have been stunned by the Earthshaker anyway, so... Nice pick off by VP.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the problems with this ward here. If you take a look at the Dire Vision, it gives you a lot of intel, but not all of the intel. And that Earthshaker was just sort of walking in the fog and just barely clipped him with that Fissure to set it up. So, still recoverable, for sure. How's the other lane going? Sadoy, 5 last hits. I guess struggling a little bit, but for an off-lane puck, doing okay. Dread staying very aggressive in lane with his early boots. Got him. Hasn't left the jungle yet, but already level 3. And has that second point in the Holy Persuasion.
Well, meanwhile, mid lane, F Ninja taking a lot of harassment here from G. Still managed to steal quite a bit of damage, even with the boots first. And
wow.
Yeah, now he's got his own boots, so life gets tough for F Ninja. In good news, Chen is level 3, as you mentioned. Unfortunately, Razor at relatively full health, not the easiest kill. I think they can get him, especially if they soften him up with a Hadouken or two.
Yep.
And also in good news, VP don't really use the jungle particularly well with their supports this early. Skywrath is getting off. He got off a pull or two earlier. He's level 3, but Jadam just sitting at level 1, just for now at least, trying to control the Razors lane mid. But they can pull ahead here from the Chen jungle.
So we've got a safe lane Ember Spirit farming up against a safe lane Juggernaut. What are you thinking here in terms of kind of game momentum with both these guys just racking up the free farm? Is this like a Midas kind of game for Juggernaut, or do you think you look towards more combative items and try and pressure VP before BZZ's
the go-to Midas for Juggernaut, air quotes, is just Mask of Madness. If you really want to accelerate your farm, it seems everyone likes the early Mask of Madness rush.
Okay.
The attack speed goes really well with his crit. It's going to depend on the build from Arts. I haven't really seen too much else. Like, occasionally you'll see the build that we saw a lot from Ush was Treads, Mask of Madness, Rina Vakila, and then you go into Yasha Manta style. That seems like one of the most popular builds lately. Outside of that, I did see a Shadow Blade Jug, which worked well, but kind of situational. Blink Dagger, an option. It really depends on how many solo pickoffs he's going to be able to find, but I would expect the early Mask of Madness. It's such a versatile item. You can also go Roche really early with it, is the other nice thing, and solo Roche. But if they have a Chen and Avenge, he doesn't have to even get that low in the pit.
All right, I'll be curious to see if Arts does take heed from what Ush was doing. I caught Game 5 of that Fire versus Cloud9 series the other day, but I was stuck on the airplane for most of it, so only got to see a little bit of the Juggernaut plays.
Oh, you missed some good games.
I know.
I would tell you to go back and watch them, but looking at the amount of Dota we have coming our way, I would say it's a fool's
There
errand.
will not be a shortage of Dota coming up in the next week. That's for damn sure.
The drought, such as, well, there hasn't really been a drought, I guess, but at least not for us. But to the extent there ever was a drought, it's over.
All right, Arts will go for Phase Boots as his first item. Still having a pretty good time in lane. Juggernaut and Ember farming very even with each other. The only disparity is just that first blood that BZZ picked up. Other than that, it's been pretty passive farm fest. Down bottom again, they'll make a go onto Gorek, and Searing Chains are there once again. You're not charging away from this one, Spirit Breaker. And that'll make it 2-0 as Ember Spirit picks up his second kill of the game.
Yeah, of course, the other thing is with the Skywrath Silence, it's quite difficult to be able to charge out. You throw that in, then when that's about to wear off, you get changed or fissured, and then you're usually just dead at that point, so... The offlane Spirit Breaker, and being normally thought of as a very tanky hero. You look at his armor, I think he starts with 5 base armor, like 700 effective HP, or 700 HP to go on top of it, I should say, with just a branch or two, and not only very difficult to kill against right clicks, but against nuke damage, still quite vulnerable. Here comes the charge top.
Yeah, they're going to go for a play on Sidoi. He does have an orb here. I'm not sure how easy this will be for HR. Phase shifts the stun, now orbs back. Sidoi will live. Arts not quite 6, so no chance for an Omni Slash. There's a rotation coming from mid lane. Jadam on the Earthshaker is here to try and intercept. It is a 4-hero rotation from HR. Looks like they will try to claim this tier 1 tower.
Not the easiest Spirit Breaker game, like I was mentioning earlier. When you charge the puck, you can always phase shift or even drop a coil. The Earthshaker can be there with a defensive fissure, but here comes the wraparound. Really nice fissure from Jadam to start it off.
Yeah, G getting bashed hard. He's going in a little bit too deep, perhaps. He'll be the first one to go down. BZZ doing a lot of damage now. Ember Spirit joining the party, and HR, they're on the back foot, and they are getting cleaned up. Arts a few right clicks from death, and looks like that's exactly what will happen. Jadam gives him the totem, and it is a 2-for-4 trade in the top lane. VirtusPro lose their tower, but get a huge exchange.
That was just disgusting by the Ember Spirit there. Threw in the triple remnant, sacrificial death, but he knew it would bring himself low enough, or bring his opponent slow enough that it would be a noble sacrifice. Really nice play there, and VP are not an easy team to push into. They showed their cards pretty early, HR, that they're not a full-on 5-man death ball push strat, but they are heavy on the push, and not having Chen Hand of God, not having mech just yet, they got punished heavily. Just a lot of AoE on VP, and you got to be careful. And again, I think it goes back to a nice Earthshaker fissure. Didn't fully block anyone in, but just blocking one hero on the one side of it, 3 on the other, it just completely disrupted the team fight and kept VP in a very confused and uncomfortable state.
Also, just starting off a fight with a stun on 3 is not a bad way for VirtusPro to start dropping all that AoE damage they have. Even the Juggernaut just sitting in the middle with that Blade Fury on, softened him up so the Ember Spirit could come and finish him off.
They're on different teams.
Oh yeah. Whoops. Whoa. All right. That's breaking off the rust.
It's your comeback test here.
Ninja, yeah, he's in trouble. BZZ's there. Secures yet another kill. Charge in from the Spirit Breaker, though. He will cancel it. I think that's probably the safe call there. And VP get another one on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's okay, man. You're having your coffee and are waking up. I am too. 8-minute rune gonna spawn out. Let's see. Gorak gonna grab it, and he will. This Ember just going ham. He's making life difficult. It's honestly not that often you see Spirit Breaker getting one hero run around, one hero running after him, chasing him. They go for the southern fissure, but can't quite get in range.
Yeah, falls a little bit short there. Dire put a lane ward down in the mid just to try and make Afaninje's life a little bit easier here. And now, unfortunately, he's fallen way behind that of the Razor. 3.8k on net worth on the Razor compared to the 2.5 on Troll. It was pretty even for a while, but Razor will actually go for a Hand of Midas here. Gets it delivered at the 8.5-minute mark and moves into this big old fatty stack here to get things started. There's that Mask of Madness on the jug like you were talking about.
Yeah, pretty much the go-to item. So no surprises from Arts. It has great synergy. I mentioned the Roach potential. It also has great synergy with Omni Slash, mass attack speed. You get all those extra slashes, regular auto attacks in between the Omni Slash. I don't know if you call them procs, whatever the word is, the slashes. Sidoi, caught out top lane though. Arts might be able to run him down with an Omni Slash. He still has a phase shift though. He's gonna go for it, and before the puck could even react, he's down for the count.
Yeah, bold play from Arts there. It could have been phase shifted, but he is just so damn
The thing is, if he phase shifts, they still catch up to him. So I don't know that it matters, but at least they do force the Juggernaut ult out.
That is one great thing about Mask of Madness phase boots, though. When he uses both of them, he's running at like 475, something like that. There's just no getting away from it, even as an elusive puck.
You can't run, and the only way to really juke that is to somehow orb yourself like into the trees, which he could have tried for, but I don't know if he gets away there at that point. They still have a Venge to scout him out with Wave of Terror. Speaking of that Venge, they're looking for gank mid at the same time. Top lane, Sidoi has a little backup in tow, but they have a lane ward here, so this has all been spotted.
Yeah, they will get a sentry down. There's a charge now out on Jotum. The wraparound from HR. VirtusPro could get punished quite hard here. There's another strike out onto Jotum. Mystic Flare comes through. Decent damage. The all-heal from Gotham. Earthshaker the first to go down. Now Sidoi stunned by the army of Centaurs. Gets blown up. A fast 2-0. Make it 3 as the Skywrath goes down to boot. And HR with a cheeky smoke from the mid lane.
They de-warded the lane, so like, okay, they know we have 3 here. Oh shit, there's a space cow in our face.
Yeah.
Nothing they could do at that point. They could have started backing immediately after they saw the war, but I think they still get caught there. And good Spirit Breaker initiation. Getting a double charge, or a charge bash off on a second hero is very difficult to win the fight from there as VP. And the other thing is, I don't think they're going to win many fights if the Earthshaker just dies off the bat. That hero can change the fights if he's in the back. We saw it earlier when they defended the tower successfully top, but if he gets caught off, it's going to go exactly the opposite way.
Yeah, HR trying to find an objective off this push. Moving into the Tier 2 tower. Glyph has already come out. VirtusPro defending as best they can, but just don't really have the resources for it. They'll keep the Ember Spirit farming down bottom until now. He's ready to TP in. BZZ, can he make a play happen? Goes in onto Dread and Afaninje. A lot of damage comes out as Arts trying to zone out the rest of the VirtusPro team. BZZ almost pays with his life. Does not get away. Chen's able to finish him off. Still a 1 for 2 as now HR on the back foot. Got him, plays the Sacrificial Lamb, runs into the team, gets a send back off on the Troll, and Gorak, he'll try to charge away, and it will be successful.
No coil, no fissure. He does end up making it out. It's tough to push into VP. I think HR got a little bit greedy there. They don't have the mech yet. Buckler and Recipe picked up on the Chen. Sticking around that long when they have a chance for everyone to respawn you kill top and defend the tower in an orderly way is kind of asking for it, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
they did get the tower. It wasn't denied, so they get a decent gold boost from that. Would have been a totally different story, though, if that puck had coil, and it was coming up in like 2 seconds when that fight was ending, so HR maybe getting a little bit lucky.
I like how the Chen just ran in at the end there. He's like, I've thrown out my Sembek.
I'll distract him, guys. I'm going in.
I died for your sins, boys. See you on the other side, I hope.
The Holy Knight. There you go. He is working on a mech, and still not quite there, but about 500 gold away, so it is coming out. Got him. Still having a pretty good game on this Chen, all in all.
They haven't gone for Roche yet. I think if you're HR, you look at this Tier 1 mid, and that's public enemy #1. They are smoked up on VP, though. Looking for the wraparound here. Could kiss out Ninja. They're going to go for it.
BZZ goes in. There's the Silence Mystic Flare, and it's an easy pick on the Troll. Gorak flying across the map, charging onto Yol. Will be able to get off another strike, but BZZ is there. This is a bold play. Out comes the Fissure, and Gorak, he may well pay with his Space Cow life. They'll turn him into cheeseburgers and get another one up on the scoreboard there. Yeah, a bit too bold from Mr. Spirit Breaker.
6, 2, and 5 on the Ember. They have 12 kills. He's been involved in 11 already. Very active performance from BZZ.
Yeah.
And that's his just a player that generally we've seen BZZ play heroes that are a little bit less active in the laning stage, but they've needed him to respond to defend towers, and he's done it in a huge way. So very nicely played.
Yeah, well, they just have so much initiation power on VirtusPro. You've seen in these team fights, BZZ is able to come in and kind of play the trash collector. He just comes in and cleans it up once all the cooldowns.
They don't have a great Ember counter. I think the best thing they can rely on is Nether Strike and then Omni Slash, but when he jumps in, normally he's killing the Spirit Breaker, which means the big threat of lockdown is gone, and at that point HR just kind of scatter.
And I think every fight so far we've seen Spirit Breaker charge in and sort of open with another strike on someone else, whoever that easy target is to try and pick off. So that's already out of the equation once the Ember Spirit comes in and joins the party.
They also don't have a good way to remove Flame Guard is the other issue. Like, you look at this HR team, where's the nuke damage? It's all right click, which is still good for focusing him, but means he's hitting very hard during that time.
Now smoke rotation from HR. They'll bump into BZZ. He does have a Remnant down, hops to it, and it will be a failed smoke gank.
Failed smoke gank, and he's going to scout it out and get away. So not the good news is HR just smoked, so they didn't waste too much time, but they'll try for this push bottom lane. They've already lost their tower mid. Tower top being slow pushed by Sidoi, but don't think he'll take it. Uh-oh, Arts coming in.
Awkward positioning here. He gets greedy, tries to farm the Dire Wolves, and it's going to cost him his life. That's not the play you want to be farming by yourself. Now Got him goes charging in, gets stunned up, throws out the AWP heal, but he's still pretty soft. Ember Spirit getting a little bit low, but G's there. Ultimate on, zoning him out, and HR will be repelled.
Well, they moved into the VP jungle. They were scouted by the Ember, so that VP knew that they were in their woods, and they sent a few heroes. They showed a few heroes bottom after that, so either they didn't expect VP to come at all to their woods, or they thought that they could turn it. He did Mask Amanda's pop, was looking maybe for an Omni Slash, but no ward to give him that uphill vision, and it's tough to get the jump on a Skywrath who sees you coming. Just instant silence. So
I'm just surprised that Jug decided to farm there. So deep in enemy territory, a lot of heroes missing off the map. Up top, we'll see Sidoi get jumped on by Gorek, but I don't think he'll find this kill. Jaunts back to the orb, and Sidoi does live. Also has that Blink Dagger finally.
Yeah, sticking around there was pretty risky.
Yeah. Ooh, mid lane, BZZ, he's invisible. Doing some math right now, thinking about how quickly he can kill Dread. Connects with Searing Chains. There's a Sleight of Fist, and Venge will have a stun. Fire Remnant.
Charged, though.
Might be necessary here. BZZ, you need to get out of dodge. Charge on the way. Gotham's here. He'll put a Remnant down. Tries to TP out. That won't happen.
Oh, the bash.
And he hopped to the Remnant here. The Bash Lord's coming in. Nope, he will die.
Just for good measure. It's like, you're probably dead anyway. I'm just going to bash you one more time, just to make sure you know who's the big boss here.
Yep.
They get the kill on a very, very aggressive Ember player, and in good news for VP, G is still farming very well. Went for the Midas early, and it's been a lot of just open, empty map for him to work with, which you can see the Midas paying off now on Razor. I'd say a fairly level-dependent hero. Plasma Field, a very powerful nuke, especially if you hit people on the max periphery of it. It does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And Static Link, generally something you're going to want to max, especially against double melee core, and Troll, who often is in melee form in team fights. And the Purge is just a nice spell to have in general, Unstable Current, so
sneaky.
Pretty level dependent.
Yeah, absolutely. HR, they move into the Roche pit. They've got a Medallion. Roche falling quickly, but VirtusPro, they're here. They want to contest. They won't get there in time. Juggernaut picks up the Aegis, but a lot of damage spread about HR. Jotum comes in with a dunk, finds the kill on the Vengeful Spirit. Now Ninja on his way in. They're trying to finish off Jotum. He'll go down by his lonesome. Now they find Sidoi. Phase shift, blink back, but another strike is there. Bashes him back. Sidoi still alive. Oh my god, BZZ. Fire Remnant all around. There's the coil on two. They get the kill on the Spirit Breaker. Now Ninja left behind. The Static Link from G. More than enough to throw out some right clicks and find the kill. Got him. What are you doing, buddy? He comes back in. They bring him down. And now it's just Arts, the lone survivor. And this could be a full five-man wipe. He's got the Aegis.
Oh, it will be.
Can they kill him twice is really the question here. Searing Chains, that'll be the first one.
Can they kill him again? I think so. There's no Omni Slash, no Blade Fury. That looks to be a pretty defensive swap. Okay, so he'll make it out, but it's a five-man wipe anyway. They're going to lose the bench, and they bump back on the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah. Oh, my. Looking at this team fight recap here, about a 2 for 5 overall, and yeah, charge on Sidoi will get canceled. Arts is on his way in, though. He's moving quick. No Omni Slash. And yeah, he'll just back it on out.
So, you remember when you said Arts, oh, the Earthshaker's dead, and you started looking at the other part of the fight?
Yeah.
Completely on the money there, but he ran all the way around to kill the Earthshaker, during which time his poor team runs up the hill. They're trying to engage here, and they fought without their biggest weapon in the team fights, the Juggernaut, which VP don't... They have answers for him, but when he's got Aegis, you know he's getting Omni Slash off, and I don't know if they would have won the fight from there, but not having him in the fight certainly hurt them, and he came in late, he got the kill on the the Skywrath Mage, did a little bit of damage to Razor, but not worth it. They end up losing effectively 6 heroes. 5 heroes with an Aegis down, and they also have to buy back on the Spirit Breaker. So not often you see a team take Roshan and get a couple kills and call it a loss, but that most certainly was.
Yeah, definitely. Now, looking at item progression here, Earthshaker's still not that close to the Blink, but the Razor, that Midas has paid some dividends, and he's picked up his Aghanim Scepter. Yeah, farming the Ancients. Oh, Searing Chains don't connect there. Could have possibly been a kill. Smoke will be revealed, at least for BZZ, and yeah, that'll be the end of that little gank attempt. But G is the real threat here, and for HR, how are they going to deal with this Razor? He's level 15, 2 up on their leader, who is the Juggernaut, and I mean, 5, 1, and 8. There's just been really no response to G.
They have good single target focus, right? They've got 2 heroes that can bash, Venge minus armor, Jug Omni Slash. On paper, they've got good heroes to deal with one carry that's out of control, but that's only if they catch him out. And G's been sticky with his team. Generally, he's not even being focused. It's the Ember who's drawing most of their attention, and frankly, in general, HR are getting jumped. There's only been a handful of fights where they've gotten the upper hand, like that backstab top lane with the charge, and when they've had the initiation, it turns out pretty well, but yeah, if it's an organized team fight, this Razor is going to be tough to deal with.
They're going in onto BZZ. Gorek, oh boy, biting off more than he can chew with that one. They'll turn it around. They saw it coming, trying to blow up BZZ, but he'll be able to remnant out. Now G gets the static link on Arts. Coil on 2. He's going to steal a lot of damage off this. Starts to throw out the whips. Chen with the heal, and App and NJ just kind of ignoring him right now. They really want Arts. He'll be able to Blade Fury away. Chen just gets picked off around the backside. Now Dread on his way in. He gets killed. And HR kind of playing sacrificial lamb to keep their cores alive. If that was their intention, I guess you could call it a success, but end of the day, it is a 3-0. And now VP looking at this Tier 2 tower.
Really good healing micro by Arts, at least, to keep himself alive. They try to focus it, but with that ridiculous base move speed it has now, tough to track it down. Another just difficult game for Spirit Breaker. You know, he tries to come in, he's getting fissured, coiled, Puck is phase shifting, Razor suddenly stealing his damage. As you mentioned, great coil to set up the Razor, and this time around BZZ sees the charge coming, just gets off the chains. Gank's over, folks. So
another tower kill.
I don't know. The Spirit Breaker pick has just not felt impactful at all this game.
Well, they want to fight again. VirtusPro on the back foot again. Gorek gets interrupted by the chains. A long-range Nether Strike, but there's a dunk. He goes down. Arch shortly after. Now got him and App and NJ on the back foot. Sadoy does not have a coil. Got him. Sends back his troll. Will heal up with the mech and still on the run, but VirtusPro low on resources. Won't be able to stop him. And it will end as another 2-0, but Hellraisers trying to get aggressive, looking for any opportunity to find kills, but it just keeps backfiring time and time again.
It is kind of the way their draft works, right? You're running Spirit Breaker as your offlaner. That's their only initiation aside from Venge, and Venge is not going to be catching up with anyone unless they want her, or unless they just get caught off guard. So he charges in, but again and again, BZZ punishing him with the chains, with the remnants out of Omni Slash. This has just been a fantastic Ember game for him, and a lot of it just goes back to HR not really drafting anything that can deal with an Ember, and then also feeding him a bunch of kills early, which you can look at the top lane, he ends up triple remnanting, dying, but set his team up, and that's one of his only deaths this game, Andrew. He's 8-3-12.
Yeah, and still that Razor, 7-1-11. Looking at his income, he'll move right into an Assault Cuirass and just one piece away, about halfway to that Hyperstone, and he'll have that shiny new aura ready to knock down those towers even more quickly. Still a Tier 1 standing for HR. VirtusPro have had that luxury of being able to kind of push towers when it's convenient, but very happy just to sit back, utilize their Midas, and take that farm advantage. Ember Spirit didn't even feel pressured into a Battle Fury this game. Just picked up a Yasha to go with his Drum of Endurance, and
Manto's pretty nice against Juggernaut Omni Slash. We've also seen
he's got the 2 pieces of the Battle Fury on the Courier, so it's just a casual Yasha.
It is a very good value item.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to mention it's a really good Assault Cuirass game. Like, you're up against Troll's ultimate, Juggernaut Omni Slash with Bescamanis, Spirit Breaker, who wants to be right-clicking, although to be honest, until he gets a BKB, he's not going to be doing much of that, and Venge Zara. So between that, it's a lot of physical damage. Very nice game to pick up an AC. So I like that choice. He's also got the Aquila for a little bit of additional plus armor for his team. And HR just... They can't seem to find that many solo pickoffs, but they are looking to use the Chen now, pushing in the bottom lane. Goddamn, bringing in the rest of the army, which is rather pitiful, I gotta say, for a Chen at this stage.
They've got a Wild Wing. That little armor aura helps a bit at this stage of the game. Not too significant, but we'll clear up some creeps with the Tornado. 2 teams trading Tier 1 for Tier 1 in the side lanes, and will be repelled as they look towards the tier 2s. Things taking a slightly more passive turn. Roche still not quite at that RNG portion of the timer yet, so for either of these teams waiting for an Aegis, they'll be waiting a bit longer here. EZZ up a little far forward.
This is going to be a scary window coming for VP. The AC you mentioned completed, the Battle Fury completed, and Earthshaker about to get his blink.
Yeah.
The triple threat
that is
inbound. And we haven't even seen Earthshaker initiations yet. Imagine a good Blink Echo Slam to start the fight. Also means Chen's creeps are very much a double-edged sword for HR. You group up with those and you just get run over.
Yeah.
It was already tough to push into this team, Andrew. Now it gets extremely difficult.
Yeah, Jodam's done a really good job this game of being patient until he gets that blink. And 2-2 and 9, he's had some decent echoes. Most of the dunks have been on like 1 or 2 targets or on the edge of fights, but you know, not dying and getting that blink at a pretty good timing here. 23 minutes. Now I think VirtusPro may group up and look to force a team fight. I mean, why not? They've got pretty much all the tools they'll need for the next 5 to 10 minutes.
I feel like they desperately need a Spirit Breaker BKB, because if he gets that, then he can actually initiate. Yeah, he might not kill anyone, but he just dies every fight. He charges in, gets chains, gets nuked by the Skywrath, and there's nothing he could do. But Gorak has no farm right now, sitting at 326 gold on top of Tread's drums.
Endurance run.
Normally, Spirit Breaker, you just get the basic, cheap, cost-effective item, so you can keep on finding pickoffs, but that doesn't work when you're not getting the pickoffs.
Yeah, hero that's really all about the momentum, and his late game once he falls behind is not really too much to speak of. Looking at Radiant Vision, they are ready to fight. They've got a nice lane ward down here in the mid. Dire do have an observer down kind of further back in the lane, but they will group and try and just chip at this tower. G uses the ultimate, and it will be an uncontested tower kill, it looks like. Dire will have a glyph, but they'll save it for another day. BZZ farming up in the top by himself, and VirtusPro just back on up. They'll be happy to take a free tower in the mid.
I don't know if they're going to be able to kill the Razor at the rate G's going. 1,400 gold up, 15k net worth on top of it.
Yeah.
If they manage to swap him, stun him, Omni Slash, and maybe follow up with another strike and right-click him during that time, like, I think they can kill him still, but it requires almost all their spells being used and nobody there to protect him or tank Omni Slash hits. And if G gets one more item, then that might not even be enough.
Yeah. Well, now the BKB's out on the Troll, and with that, HR will smoke and move towards the Roche pit. See on the mini-map here, looks like they'll go for the old wraparound. See if they can make that happen. Gorak off to the side, ready to charge.
By the way, full Bash Lord engaged. They've got the Juggernaut Bash now.
Oh,
triple Bash.
Wow.
With Troll, Basher is a value item in general, but every fight so far we've seen this Juggernaut, when he jumps in, gets silenced and gets destroyed. Good news is Arts has the completed Manta style as well now. So last time he ran in bottom, he just had a Yasha, just died. I guess he should at least be able to Manta out of one of those silences and try and turn the fight.
I guess when you put Jug on the 1, you're a little more committed to making him a right clicker and not going for that Ags, but yeah, like Ags could have been good this game.
Especially with this build. Like you level up Blade Dance, he took points in stats early.
Yeah.
That is more it's the build that's been really popular in Chinese pubs. We've seen more and more European and North American players at least experimenting with it. I haven't actually seen enough. I've seen quite a few Juggernaut games, but I haven't really had a chance to sit down and evaluate which build seems better, but I think this build is a little bit more popular. Like
this is definitely more like that. Obviously, the kind of hard carry build. I think the Ags is... One of the things about the Ags that people overlook is it extends the time that you're invulnerable in those fights. So while you're doing all that damage, jumping around in the Roche pit, that's time you're not getting silenced, not taking all that AoE damage. And
Ags is mid lane. They're going to jump in here on BZZ, but no.
Not quite.
Again, it's so hard to gank the Ember. Like some games... Some games, Ember can't even leave his team if they have, say, a Doom or maybe a Global Silence to worry about, but they have no good initiation on him.
And now VP still grouped up around the Roche pit. They'd love to hop in here. Dire do have some wards down, but there is this little spot in the fog here that their wards don't give vision to. So they will move into the Roche pit. They smoke up out of the Roche. This will try to fake it.
Showing that many heroes moving right towards the pit and then smoking out of it, this could completely screw over HR. Dread's going to check right now. I think they want a bigger
walks right into it. He has no idea. He gets picked off, and now Dread, he's going to get caught out too. Fissure interrupts the TP. It's a fast 2-0. And VirtusPro with the cheeky play.
That was a really nice move.
I like that.
Obviously, that doesn't work if they're like right next to the pit, because then they just go on you as soon as you walk in. But they didn't have anyone in the neighborhood, and set up by the Radiant Wards, having a ward here, having a ward over here. They saw that HR backed off, so yeah, super nice maneuver there from VP. Special tactics, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. It will yield a Roche kill, slow and steady. They will be able to get the Aegis in the mid. Arts trying to do as much damage as he can. Not going to grab the tier 2 tower, but gets it down to about half health. They will hand the Aegis over to Razor. Not quite as good at the Aegis carrier as he used to be. Now Ida Storm does no longer persist through Aegis death, but still.
Yeah, he used to be one of the most ridiculous Aegis carriers.
Now he's just decent. He's good like everyone else, but not totally broken. So still their farmed core. Very, very warranted use of the
Art's
Aegis.
maybe going to get caught out here. He's going to Manta out of the initial chains, though. And
no mana for the Omni Slash.
It's a really good Manta game for Juggernaut. Skywrath silence, Puck silence. Potentially can dodge an Earthshaker Fissure, although that's a bit tough with the Manta and needs the Manta to survive.
Yeah, the only issue with this build is that he just has mana issues. Manta's 165, Healing Ward is 120, Omni Slash is 350. You use all those once, and that's a pretty big chunk of your mana pool at a measly 715.
Well, and Blade Fury is not even worth using.
Yeah, it's only level 1.
It's good for the Blade Fury TP out.
Exactly,
that's
BKB
about
TP.
it.
Yep.
The thing with Jug is you could argue all of his spells are at least somewhat one-hit wonders, right? Like Blade Fury, you look at the way the damage scales, level 1, 80 damage per second. Level 4, 140, so it scales well, but level 1 is still pretty value. Healing Ward, 2% max HP per level. I'd say that's the worst value point, as it scales all the way up to 5% per second, but it's still pretty good. And the crit, level 1 is 20%, so
200. Yeah,
that's the big reason why we're seeing Juggernaut players experimenting so much with the skill build, is because all of the spells are pretty decent even at level 1, which allows you to go for stats, to maybe keep the Healing Ward or the Blade Fury level 1 early.
He's a very versatile hero. You can run him in a lot of different positions.
It's cool to see the experimentation.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you can put him in more of a kind of a tertiary role, go for the Ags and just try to burst somebody down. You can put him in just pushing lineups, utilize that Healing Ward as a primary. A lot of things that you can do here, but it's still VirtusPro that are in control of this game. About 14,000 gold, 20,000 experience in the Radiant's favor. They will set their sights on the last remaining outer tower for Hellraisers. It is this tier 2 in the top lane, and it seems it'll be yet another tower that'll be taken down without a defense.
By the way, the Puck is going for Ags now, so even if Spearbreaker gets a BKB, this is still potentially going to cause him a lot of problems in the fight. You jump in with your BKB, then you try to run away. Oh crap, Coil's going to break and you're done for. As Alpha Ninja will get caught out here by BZZ mid, but they can't really go on him. Did they push high ground VP? I don't know if this is their time to do it. Ember, no BOTs, not in position.
I think they just
have a spear at top,
Aegis.
so he could join them.
They've got about half duration left on the Aegis, and the Razor ultimate is such a short cooldown. I think the plan here is just have a go at the tower, see what damage you can do, and don't overcommit for it.
Oh, it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, HR, I mean, they're not in a great position to defend. They're kind of caught off guard here. Spirit Breaker very far away, will TP in, but the tier 3 tower's already gone down. Chen on the low ground trying to go for the wraparound. G will zone out the Juggernaut. Yol getting bursted pretty quick after the BKB on, comes into the front lines. The all heal's been used. Now Jotum goes down, but they'll get Gorek in exchange. G will use the Aegis. It's a 2 for 2. And there will be 3 apiece on the field as G comes back full health, full mana. BZZ going in forward, connects with chains on Dread. Now G caught inside of the net. No ultimate on, needs to be a little careful here, in a lot of trouble. I don't think the Razor will live to tell the tale for this one.
Big hold there. Nicely done by HR. VP forced back. They did get the tier 3, brought the range down to half, but man, that initiation on the supports, they just instantly end up losing the Earthshaker. Skywrath gets charged out, and then Earthshaker trying to defend him ends up getting jumped as well. That's the hero that you ideally want to kill. The Skywrath's nice, but getting the Earthshaker wins you the fight there. And ends up getting off Echo Slam, wasn't a great one. Made the difference.
Yeah, definitely.
He can sit really far back. Like, he could be sitting up here, over here. He was up here at the start of the fight, and then he tried to walk in for an Echo, but I think they want to play behind the Razor a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to rush in for the defense.
So a failed fight for VirtusPro, but like you said, they get the tier 3 out of it. It's about a 2,500 net worth change, give or take. Still very comfortable in the lead here with all their farming tools. And
the other thing is VP have no sustain at all. They have no Urn on their supports, no mech, no pipe, no healing ward.
Yeah.
So they stick around. They're going to get low at some point. You're not up against the best wave clear AoE. In fact, it's pretty bad, but you get off an auto attack here or there, a couple nukes. And
so Gotham actually has his Aghanims now on the Chen. So we will see more Hand of Gods coming out undoubtedly, but we're in ancient territory here. So we'll see what he picks up. And
oftentimes, the thing with the Chen eggs is it seems like usually when players get it, the other team is heavy right click anyway, right? Because it often is around this time. Yep. I think I've seen one Chen game where he snowballed. That was Big Daddy playing in the America Qualifier for his new team. Ember will jump out bottom lane.
Still getting charged, but yeah, it gets canceled.
But yeah, this game, they have the Razor who can fight Ancients pretty well. Ember, who has not gone for a heavy DPS build, although now he's got it with the Battle Fury and Manta complete. Ancients will be... We'll have to see how much they do.
Does he even take one here is the question. It doesn't look like it. He's got 2 Dark Trolls right now and a Satyr.
It's not bad for the ulti either. You get the 30-second Scepter cooldown. On paper, seems really broken if you think about how much healing you can throw out, but in practice, historically, most team fights are decided within like 10 to 20 seconds, so
yeah,
we'll see. It's very good if you're pushing, you drop low, you drop the Hand of God, and then you have a second one ready when the push continues.
It's amazing for that kind of slow siege, those really long, drawn-out fights where you can just...
poor Gorek.
Keep
trapped in the trees.
Oh, what a sad life.
Canceled his charge, but at the worst possible time.
He's working on that BKB. Ogre Club, 1,200 gold. You know, getting there. Baby steps, LD. Charge down bottom. They'll go on to BZZ, but I think he's got a Remnant down somewhere. Yeah, he does in the mid lane. Searing Chains once more, and, well, Spirit Breaker thinking about TPing out.
Still trying to build the BKB. 34 minutes in. Been a tough game.
I think they want to have another go at this. He'll have another charge, but there he goes. Hops to the Remnant. This slippery snake.
If only the Remnant literally like flew through his body. If only you could bash that. Would have gotten it.
Oh, man.
Still a pretty VP-sided game. Leading by 15k gold, 15k experience. So, I think... For HR, the issue is just not being able to quickly blow up the Razor.
And now he has a Butterfly, which is scary.
And they're mostly right-click. Also will help you a lot against Juggernaut. Can evade those extra auto attacks in between the regular Omni-Slash strikes. Yep. But Juggernaut has an MKV if he wants to buy it. So
yep, he's got it, but the Troll does not. So that, I mean, it's a way to deal with it, but the Razor's still very tanky. And
you know, Alpha Ninja might even... What's he going to build here? Gets the ultimate. Could even be a Hex, honestly.
Yeah, maybe that's where he's going. I kind of hope it is. I hope it's not a Manta. I don't think that's what he needs at this stage.
They just also need that instant initiation. Like, getting that... If he does go for Hex, that would be...
Oh, Nether Strike from Gorek just completely... Well, not disjointed, but canceled. And, yeah, it looks like Spirit Breaker will go down. The Juggernaut will be able to TP home. It's a quick pickoff, and everyone else on HR will make a quick exodus here. Chen Creeps get left behind, but pulled back. Compliments of that new change, and Chen has picked up the Ancient Granite Golem, so has decided to utilize that 15% HP bonus aura, and yeah, that's a tanky golem, dude.
I guess I feel like that's more value if you have like a Pudge or something.
yeah, it's really if you have like a Centaur, somebody that can really benefit from that huge 15%. It's quite a lot. Yeah,
it's a lot of HP. 2,600 health on the Golem. The thing about the Golem is, if you can't kill it, you just ignore it, though. It doesn't. It's a lot different when he's banging on buildings, but when he's just trying to hit heroes in a fight,
yeah,
it's also a slow creep.
It's pretty slow. 270 and the
lumbering around the map.
It's not a huge range. 900 radius. It's not tiny, but given how slow he is, positioning the Granite Golem can be a little tricky when you're up against these elusive heroes. You know, 2 Blink Daggers and Ember Spirit moving around. He can be a little difficult to position.
I want to point out Sadoy did not opt to complete the Ags. He went back for what's going to be an E-Blade here, it looks like. Gets the Eagle Song.
All right.
Pretty nice with the Scarith, but you mainly just get this to deal with the Juggernaut Omni-Slash now. So if they ever go on the Razor and do catch him...
Whoa, dunk onto Gorak mid. They'll find Got him also clear up a lot of his creeps. All kill comes out before they can silence him. A defensive swap from Dread. Pretty nicely done, but it's not enough to save the Chen. Now Dread in some trouble. HR just getting run over. BZZ in the front lines. F and NJ with a late BKB will be able to survive, but 2 of their teammates not going to be so lucky. And now the siege towards the high ground begins. The Dire have a glyph, but G already with the active ultimate. They'll go right for the high ground where the barracks are exposed.
This is trouble. They're in the base. They've got the Razor ultimate cooling down very soon, and Might even be 2 lanes of racks here. No buyback on Spirit Breaker. No buyback on Centaur. Or on Centaur. Chen.
He's riding Centaur.
Yeah. They're going to lose 1 lane here, I guess. Looks like HR will hold on to their 2nd lane of barracks for now. And I just want to mention, Troll went for a more standard right-click build. Completed Scotty. Has the BKB.
Okay.
So, nothing too unusual. But I honestly, I don't know.
I feel like this is a game where only the unusual will get HR back into it. They're pretty far behind at this point. Nearly 20,000 gold and experience.
Nobody on HR is being allowed to walk in and right-click, right? Like, they're running a Troll, Venge, Spirit Breaker, but Spirit Breaker can't charge in. Troll walks in, and Razor just starts zapping him, and he's got to walk away. He's always in melee form at this stage of the game in fights, and unless he's throwing out the X's for the slow. And
HR
they can't right-click.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. Roche up in about 10 seconds. They may try and wait it out, but now the Fire Remnant's in the pin. It will put a wrench in the mix here in terms of their plans. They'll abandon Roche and rotate down. Looks like they may try to gank BZZ. In comes the charge, but
not been able to kill him this game.
Hey, what do you know? Right back into the Roche pit. Got him, gets hit by the chains, and now he's charged again. BZZ could be in trouble, but now his teammates are here. Sadoy on his way in. Razor joins the party also. A swap from Dread, all heal from Chen. There's that Omni Slash bouncing around. BZZ does go down, but G, he's still alive. Now he's the big damage dealer. Ninja with the BKB on, standing his ground for now. G maybe in a little too deep. It's HR coming out on top as VirtusPro get cleaned up. Some buybacks being used here. The Ember Spirit, the only one to use it for now. Wow, it's a 1 for 4.
Very spirited Roche fight there. Good play by the puck. Sadoy throughout the defensive E-Blade kept his Ember alive, but I guess that ends up just being an unfortunate remnant to relocate into. He dropped one in the pit for scouting purposes, and oh, hello, it's me, Chen. I'm ready for you, buddy.
Oh, that's an easy Roche. Cheese will go to
That's the kind of fight they need, though. Like the very disorganized, chaotic, VP are scrambling. Juggernaut gets off an Omni Slash that actually manages to get a couple of quick kills on important targets, and he killed off the Ember basically solo there. Bounced to him, then Ember tried to Sleight of Fist, but it was still bouncing and went right back to him after the Sleight of Fist ended.
Yeah, Ember's still able to pick up a Daedalus off the back end of that fight, though, was pulling up a lot of gold despite using the buyback. That does level things out a little bit for the top farmers. Jug now only about 1,500 net worth behind that of the Razor. And
Ember. He's going to have to be careful. Arts is about to get a completed Abyssal Blade, and I think if they Abyssal him, he should just die from there, because they'll have most likely the follow-up Nether Strike, Omni Slash. I think that's enough to kill this Ember, but if BZZ's got his team there, maybe not so much.
Yes.
Don't underestimate the late game Jug. With this build, Arts can assassinate, I would say, any hero on the map.
Yeah,
aside from if the puck's there with the defensive E-Blade.
And remember, he's the Aegis carrier, the huge right clicker. This is where all the eggs on the Hellraiser basket have been placed.
But very squishy. You get the Hex off on him, if he doesn't have Aegis later on this game, he will die. We've seen that before, so.
Yep. Certainly so.
Glass cannon.
Looking at that gold graph, what a recovery for Hellraisers. That last fight alone was about 8,000 net worth, something like that. Then you got Roche and the other objectives they found. And now it's less than a 10k golden experience lead for VirtusPro. And this is achievable for the Hellraisers. Only 1 lane of barracks down. Pretty easy to defend. And
they're getting tanky, though. Ninja now, he got the Scotty. Now AC's inbound. You give him AC. Juggernaut almost 6-slotted at this point. Spirit Breaker very poor, but doesn't really have to start the fights if Patrol and Jug can just run in first.
Yep.
I would not count your chickens before you're hatched if you're VP. This one still by no means out of reach. In fact, gold, as you've been pointing out, is a lot closer to even.
Yeah, Gotham is invisible here on the high ground outside the Radiant Ancients. He is the gem carrier right now, so needs to decide how they want to do this. They go in onto G. The charge gets canceled, and Hellraisers looking to catch him off guard, but a Fast Force staff will keep their Lightning Revenant safe. And HR will just head back to their side of the map and go back to farming.
No next level test of faith in your Ancient Granite Golems in for the big gank plays. I am disappointed.
Apparently not. Charge up top. Let's see. What's Chen working with right now? You got a Centaur still hanging on to that.
And the Golem.
Golem. And yeah.
Look, I can't even fight the creeps. Pathetic Golem.
It's so slow. I feel like it could stand to be a little. 270 is like.
It's deceptively. I wouldn't say it's useless, but it's deceptively underwhelming.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Like even just 300, I feel like would be fair. You know, like that.
That may be something that gets changed. I mean, I think it's pretty clear Ice Frog wants to see more Chen, as well as Enchantress, just from the recent patch changes, and
yeah,
perhaps it is time to buff the neutrals even more.
Yeah. All right, well, the Abyssal is up on Jug. He's got another 1,600 gold to play around with already. And old Gorek, he does have a BKB finally inbound. It took him 42 minutes, but he farmed it up. Now maybe the Spirit Breaker can actually stand his ground in these fights a little bit.
It's a very late BKB, but it's a big BKB. They have nothing to stop this.
Double Granite Golem.
Unless Puck coils and he charges through the coil and out the other end.
Yeah.
Like, that's... And he has to get caught by it in the first place, so... Not easy to catch a Spirit Breaker when he's whirring through the team fight at... What is it? Like 800 move speed, 750 move speed. It's not easy.
Well, BZZ...
You can just tell VP are not as confident in this game as they were earlier. Before, they pushed top lane, they brought in the Ember to the fight a bit later. Just brute forced it. Brute forcing it against this Jug is not so easy.
Yeah, and Arts is just going to continue to get bigger here. Once that Aegis expires, he'll have one more slot to work with in the mid. Ninja could find himself in a bit of a sticky wicket. Sidoi comes in with a Hex. There's the swap from Dread. Even an all-heal from Chen. And HR...
They're charging bottom. They have the Abyssal Blade as well. This could be trouble.
And they lock him down. Searing Chains on the Illusions. That's a tool that BZZ won't have. Has a Remnant down. Still hops back. And this guy, man.
If his Remnant was a little bit closer, I think they would have dove that. If it wasn't so near the tower. Because they just saw a few mids. So if EP want to defend that, they're going to have to TP in. But BZZ ends up having a very deep Remnant. Nicely played. And you could see he drops another one. He's been very disciplined at dropping these deep Remnants. So... Yeah, Spirit Breaker will follow you even after you Remnant, but not going to follow you that far.
I mean, it feels like a pretty easy game to keep those Remnants down. Every time he pushes out of the lane, he gets a reminder, that little love tap from the Spirit Pro. I'm surprised he's still charging him, and he hasn't given up yet. I mean,
you got to keep pressure on him, though. You can't just let him free far. But yeah, it does. He's chasing him around the world, man.
Yeah, it just feels like half this game has just been Ember Spirit. Oh, fire running away. Okay, he's going to be safe. But VirtusPro will try to get aggressive now. They smoke and move towards the top, and they don't have the creep momentum. Chen creeps are pushing the lane out. The double Granite Golems here. Fortunately for Chen, the auras don't stack, but increases the radius that you can stack it up here. All of his creeps are going to get cleared up. Oh, poor baby. That is a sad time for a Chen when your whole army just implodes.
That's what tends to happen at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
Chen at this point, primarily here for the send back as well as the Hand of God. Mech is nice too, but to be honest, if Goddamn's in the middle of the fight, he's probably not living for long.
Yeah.
You can, with the creeps, you can look to split push with them, but the Ember is pretty mobile and good at ganking them as well. So. It's just, it's just not Chen's phase of the game anymore. Can still have those big, unless there's a life stealer, then he infests a creep, you send that creep back to your fountain, and he dies. Shout out to Havos.
There you go.
One of my favorite plays ever.
Yeah, that's some special tactics right
Radiant's bottom tower
VirtusPro still trying to get aggressive here. I think they want to try to end this one sooner rather than later while they feel somewhat strong. They know the Aegis is despawned. Uh-oh, G gets swapped in. Gorak with his BKB on. There's the first heal from Chen. VirtusPro taking a lot of damage. Jotum goes down before the dunk comes out.
He's just getting bachelored down, dude.
Yeah, the Abyssal Blade locks him down despite the BKB. It's a fast 2-0, and HR on the aggressive. In comes BZZ, connects with Chains on 2, but will it cost him his life? They still want to try and pursue out. Looks like the Ember Spirit will live, but a great hold from HR.
They are not respecting that Venge swap. That's a level 3 swap for Dread now. The range on this thing is almost a screen wide, and he's got a Force Staff. They still got off the defensive E-Blade. Again, well played by Sidoi, but the problem is when that E-Blade wears off, it's not like Razor kills them during the E-Blade, because they're all getting a bit too tanky and it's just getting late in the game, and then he just gets descended upon and feasted by the Spirit Breaker bashes, the Juggernaut with Mask of Madness Manta, almost like not quite max attack speed, but very fast. And with Abyssal Blade as well, like you've got guaranteed bashes, proc bashes coming out all over the place, the troll attack speed as well from Battle Trance. You can't get into a right-click war with these heroes. You're just not going to win.
I feel like that last fight really showed how crucial Jotum is to VirtusPro in those team fights. If he gets locked down and blown up before the fight really starts, that's it. But he is their key piece to counter-initiate. When someone gets jumped on, once the Razor gets E-bladed, that's the window when Jotum needs to come in, get a dunk, drop his rotation, at least create some space for the Razor to try and move around, survive the duration of the Abyssal. and reset the fight a little bit. But if they can catch the Earthshaker like that, that's an easy fight for HR every time.
They really cannot let Juggernaut Omni Slash. Or if he does, it has to be pretty wasted. But that fight, like, they use the defensive E-Blade, right? Then the Omni Slash just starts bouncing to other heroes instead and kills them. But it's just not easy to pull that kind of play off. The bounces for so long. You kind of have to group up or else Spirit Breaker will rip you apart now that he's got the BKB. Only Ember can really split push particularly safely. I guess Puck to some extent, but he's just a slow split pusher. It's just not... It's getting to be that stage of the game where HR are running what amounts to a very strong late game lineup and just finding pickle. It's an easy to execute one, too. BKB Spirit Breaker charges in. There's almost no way to interrupt that. Juggernaut walks in and Omni Slashes. He's almost guaranteed to get 2-3 kills off the bat. And
he picks up his BOTs now.
And they're tanky enough that the Earthshaker Puck jumps are not getting quick kills anymore.
Yeah. Puck does have enough gold for an Aghanims. About 4,200, already has the point booster, so we'll see what Sidoi wants to do with it. I think Aghanims still a worthwhile pickup, as if more BKBs come out. There's only 2 on the field for the Dire, but that 4.5 second stun, if you manage to break a tether, is pretty damn strong.
Very good.
Here we go.
Comes the jump, though. They've got the swap.
Smoke rotation swap. Double Drakes. You're doing a lot of damage. G gets Abyssal through the BKB. Down he goes. It'll cost him Avenge, but a great trade for HR. Ninja getting aggressive onto Jotum. He'll get another freebie there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Yol with a Ghost Scepter on gets chased down by Arts, and a couple of attacks with the sword will bring him down. A 3-0 BZZ. Now he's stuck in an awkward position. Gets a Fire Remnant down. Will try to TP out. Not going to find it.
The dragons are coming! The dragons are coming! It looks like they were doing a lot of damage, but obviously the Jug Omni Slash.
Yeah, at least the dragons are a little quicker.
They're a little more intimidating, is for me the main thing.
But, you know, like they're 395.
Actually, they have Empowering Haste, so...
Yeah, with the haste and then with the drum charge as well. That helps. But
buyback status, they have it on the Razor. BKB will cool down for him, but at the same time, every time that Omni Slash button gets pressed, heroes just dying.
Bottom tower has fallen.
And now VirtusPro in an awkward position. They do have all of their ultimates available, so there will be a dunk. HR need to be very cautious.
I think they need a big one. They maybe even smoke up Jotum here if you have it. No smokes right now. No, they have one on Yol, but blowing that smoke defensively really hurts you. You're down for 9.5 seconds. If they don't end up pushing in, then you just wasted it.
Oh my, look at that. They put a Drake in the Roche Pit. As soon as it respawns, Arts BOTs into the creep, and then him and Ninja just melt Roche. That's another cheese stacked up on the Troll, and it'll be yet again an Aegis of the Immortal in the inventory of the Juggernaut, who's sitting pretty over 6,000 gold. This is starting to feel like Hellraiser's game here, LD.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty damn clear at this point. He's still got a little room to grow as well. Can sell the Mask of Madness, get maybe a Butterfly, works really well with the illusions, and just gives him a little bit more late game. And at that point, how do you kill him? You have the Puck Hex, I suppose, but ever since HR got the BKB on the Spirit Breaker and just more farm on the Troll and Juggernaut, they're very confident in their movements, and VP aren't finding those... You remember earlier, like, they'd get a Hex, they'd get a quick insta-kill. Uh-oh, hold that thought.
Well, speak of the devil, Hex onto Ninja. Maybe it'll be a quick kill. The swap from Dread keeps him alive, and he eats the cheese. Now BKB on, turns onto the Earthshaker. G falls shortly after. Just a matter of seconds, the Razor
not done yet. Top lane, Space Cow going in hot. Will bring down Yol as well. It's a rout. It looks to be over at this point.
Yep.
Buyback is up on the Razor, but his item progression is halted, and they may wait for one more Omni Slash to do this.
Okay, he will buy back on the Razor, still with another cheese and an Aegis of the Immortal.
Do they want to do this without Omni Slash, though? This Ember is hitting pretty hard.
They're feeling brave. They're just going to nuke down this Tier 3 tower. They use the ultimate from the Troll, force out the Glyph. There's a heal from Chen. G with no ultimate for another 20 seconds. Very limited on what he can do here.
Good micro of the healing ward. You could see Gorak just canceling his ultimate, thinking about jumping the Raze. He's like, we can't really get this kill. But they're going to bring down G from the backside.
Beautiful swap from Dread. A lot of AoE damage comes out on the HR, but it just simply isn't enough. They can't finish the kills. They will find one on Dread, but the cost is quite high.
Back from the Razor. They need more to make up for this. Arts Now running back in onto Judum, almost getting the kill your Earthshaker on the way out. The BKB troll charging forward.
He eats his second cheese. Oh my god, the sustain on this troll. They basically killed him 3 times already. Another heal from Chen. Art's trying to chase down the Ember Spirit, looking for the solo pickoff. Can't find it. Will fall this time around. Aegis of the Immortal is utilized, but he's coming right back up. He's still creating some space for his buddy in the mid lane.
And he's going to have Omni Slash in 25. They managed to pick off this healing ward. Actually a big play to slow down the push, but F and Ninja coming in hot. And the Bash Lords are back. This Ember doing a lot of work.
A lot of crits here. Still only so much damage BZZ can do. And now with the Battle Trance, 2 lanes of barracks go down. VirtusPro doing everything they can. Another ultimate from Chen. There's that Aghanim Scepter coming into play. Puck comes out. Silence onto 2 with a lot of damage. Piggy is used on F and Ninja. Spirit Breaker locking down the Ember Spirit. He'll go down. Buyback on the Puck as well as the Ember. HR trying to deliver that killing blow with VirtusPro on their last leg. No more buybacks available after this go around here, and it looks like they will have one more go at a team fight. Yol and Sidoi in the front lines. BZZ locked down. Omni Slash and the Abyssal. Yol gets off the Ghost Scepter. That'll buy him some time. 4 staff away from the Battle Fury. And at this point, it's looking grim for the Radiant side. They had this game in their clutches, and they have now thrown it away. Yet another heal from Gotham as they just go right into the tier 4s. VirtusPro will go down in game number 1.
Look at the gold draft this game. That ends up being a 25,000 gold swing over 20, 30 minutes. It was a fairly slow turn, but HR just taking it late. Honestly, like their deep push was not very good. Before Spirit Breaker and BKB, he could not jump in. Juggernaut was just getting hexed and blown up, but they just got to that point where they managed to secure Roshan. They kept on finding these pickoffs. Remember, there's a point this game where they took Roche and then they ended up getting team wiped, lost their Aegis, bought back on Spirit Breaker and got nothing done. But VP just couldn't end the game. They got the top lane of Rax, and HR defended really well. And we see Juggernaut. We used to see him more in push strats, not as a hero that was known for his late game potential. But nowadays, this hero does it all. He dominates early. He can be played as a heavy right clicker. He can still be played as support. You can go for the healing ward max and push strats. You can get Blade Fury maxed early and go for more fighting, or just play more of your hard carry Jug, which we saw this game. In that particular variant, how do you deal with Omni Slash?
Yeah, I mean, you look at this lineup from VirtusPro and you think, well, they're not lacking on late game too bad. You've got an Ember Spirit with a Battle Fury, 2 Daedalus. Razor, he scales pretty well, but
like, look at their heroes. Ember's supposed to be able to Remnant away. Earthshaker's supposed to be able to disengage with defensive fissures.
Jug is just
They had the E-Blade to deal with the Jug Omni Slash. They had the Ghost Scepter on Skyreth, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Definitely not the other thing is when they win a fight with Trollvenge, they push really hard.
Yes, exactly. They get the objectives right away. So, all right, folks, we'll have another game at least coming up next in this best of 3. HR up 1-0. We'll see if they can take it a quick 2-0 or if we move into a game 3. I'm Zyori, joined by LD. Stick with us because we're coming back for the conclusion of this series.